For the price of a garage in London, you can own a Trullo house in Puglia. Not a renovation project. An actual livable stone house with conical roofs that have stood for 4 centuries. While British pensioners battle over flats in Spain, and Americans chase Tuscan dreams they cannot afford, the heel of Italy's boot offers baroque towns, white sand beaches, and property prices that seem like clerical errors. Puglia stretches along 500 miles of Adriatic and Ionian coastline. The region produces more olive oil than the entire country of Greece. UNESCO heritage sites sit in towns where a 3-course lunch costs €12 and includes wine. Italians know Puglia. They holiday here. But international buyers overlook it systematically, which keeps prices at levels that would be impossible if the world paid attention. We examined current property listings, reviewed SSN healthcare facilities, mapped train connections to Rome and Naples, and spoke with British and American expats who relocated between 2020 and 2025. We are counting down 7 Puglian towns where Trulli houses, baroque palaces, and coastal apartments deliver authentic Italian living for $60,000 to $120,000. If you have spent years assuming Italian coastal living requires lottery winnings, you have been looking at the wrong map. Hit subscribe and tell us in the comments whether you have heard of Puglia before today. Population around 20,000. Located in Valle d'Itria, roughly 80 kilometers from Brindisi Airport. This is the town Puglian food writers call the gastronomic heart of the region. Stand in the Centro Storico at sunset. White buildings glow gold. The Castello Ducale dominates the skyline. Medieval walls holding centuries of history. Narrow streets wind between houses stacked like they are holding one another upright. Balconies overflow with geraniums. The smell of baking focaccia drifts from bakeries where recipes have not changed in generations. Average property price sits around $1,100 per square meter. A 2-bedroom apartment in the historic center recently sold for $75,000. A 3-bedroom townhouse with original vaulted ceilings went for $95,000. Equivalent properties in Tuscany's hill towns exceed $250,000. But here is what makes Ceglie exceptional. The restaurant scene is absurd for a town this size. Michelin recognition. Slow food procedure. Chefs who trained internationally and returned home to cook what their grandmothers taught them. The Saturday market fills the piazza with producers selling burrata made that morning, vegetables picked before dawn, wine from vineyards you can walk to. Healthcare connects through the Brindisi ASL system. The nearest hospital with full emergency services is in Francavilla Fontana, 15 minutes by car. Train connections require a bus to Francavilla or Ostuni first. The honest consideration is that Ceglie sits inland. You are 30 minutes from the nearest beach. For those requiring daily sea access, coastal towns serve better. But for authentic Puglian town life where food culture matters, Ceglie delivers at prices that have not yet reflected its quality. A retired chef from Manchester relocated here in 2022. He spent his career chasing Michelin stars in kitchens where everyone was stressed. In Ceglie, he eats better than he ever cooked professionally. His grocery bill is half what it was in the UK, and the woman who sells him vegetables asks about his daughter by name. The name means round place. The town is built in a perfect circle on a hilltop, white houses radiating from the center like spokes on a wheel. Population around 14,000. Located in the heart of Valle d'Itria, roughly 20 kilometers from Martina Franca and Alberobello. The Centro Storico is a maze of whitewashed lanes so narrow you can touch both walls while walking. Flowers cascade from every balcony. The Church of San Giorgio rises in baroque glory. Average property price hovers around $1,300 per square meter. A 1-bedroom apartment in the historic center recently sold for $68,000. A 2-bedroom house with a terrace went for $95,000. A restored 3-bedroom townhouse with original features listed at $135,000. The Valle d'Itria spreads below the town. Truly dot the landscape like architectural punctuation. Vineyards and olive groves stretch toward the horizon. On clear days, you can see the Adriatic glinting in the distance. The challenge is tourism. Locorotondo appears on those most beautiful villages lists. Summer brings day trippers from the coast. Restaurants fill. but shoulder seasons return the town to residents. October through May, Loco Rotondo belongs to the people who live here. Healthcare connects to Martina Franca Hospital, 15 minutes away. The train station sits below the old town with connections to Bari and Taranto. A British couple who relocated from Bristol in 2023 described their experience. They visited in August and nearly crossed Loco Rotondo off their list because of crowds. They returned in February. Snow dusted the Trulli in the Valle. The town was quiet. They bought an apartment for $72,000 and have not regretted the timing. Baroque architecture so exuberant it borders on theatrical. Population around 49,000, making this the largest town on our list with genuinely urban amenities while maintaining historic character. The Centro Storico is a Baroque masterpiece. Palazzo Ducale dominates the main piazza, its facade a riot of carved stone and decorative excess. Every street reveals another palazzo, another decorated doorway, another balcony dripping with ironwork that looks like frozen lace. Average property price sits around $200 per square meter. A two-bedroom apartment in the Baroque quarter recently sold for $88,000. A three-bedroom townhouse with period features went for $125,000. A four-bedroom palazzo apartment with original frescoed ceilings listed at $180,000. Comparable Baroque apartments in Lecce exceed $300,000. Martina Franca has infrastructure. Supermarkets, hospitals, banks, specialist shops, a theater hosting an internationally recognized opera festival each summer. This is not a village where you travel elsewhere for services. This is a functioning town. The Valle d'Itria Hospital provides full emergency care. The train station connects to Taranto in 30 minutes and Bari in 90 minutes. Brindisi Airport sits 50 kilometers away. The food culture deserves mention. Capocolo di Martina Franca, a cured meat with protected geographical status, originates here. The macellery cure meat in methods unchanged for centuries. The consideration is that Martina Franca feels urban. If you seek isolated countryside tranquility, smaller villages serve better. But for those wanting town amenities, cultural events, and Baroque beauty without Lecce's tourist density, Martina Franca offers remarkable value. An American couple from Seattle relocated here in 2021. They initially targeted Lecce but found prices climbing and tourism overwhelming. Martina Franca gave them the Baroque architecture they wanted, the opera festival they craved, and community where being foreign is interesting but not exotic. Their apartment cost $95,000. A working agricultural town that sits 8 kilometers from some of the finest beaches on the Adriatic coast. Population around 16,000. This is not a tourist town that tolerates locals. This is a local town that tolerates tourists. The Castello d'Entice di Frasso rises above the town, its medieval bulk softened by centuries but still commanding. The Centro Storico maintains character without being precious about it. People live here. Laundry hangs from balconies. The morning market sells to residents. The bars serve espresso to farmers and shopkeepers who have been coming for decades. Average property price hovers around $1,100 per square meter. A two-bedroom apartment near the center recently sold for $70,000. A three-bedroom townhouse went for $98,000. But here is what makes Carovigno strategically interesting. Beach properties within 10 minutes drive appear regularly between $120,000 and $180,000. Torre Santa Sabina, Specchiola, these coastal areas belong to Carovigno but offer Adriatic access that towns charging double cannot match. The beaches are exceptional. White sand. Clear turquoise water. Pine forests backing the shore. In July and August, Italian families arrive. The rest of the year, these beaches sit largely empty. The archaeological site of Egnatia sits nearby, a Messapian settlement where Romans later built. Ruins stretch along the coast. This is the casual historical richness that characterizes Puglia. Healthcare connects through the Ostuni hospital network. Train service requires a connection in Brindisi or Ostuni, but bus services run regularly. Brindisi Airport is 25 kilometers away. The consideration is that Carovigno is not polished. This is not Ostuni with its white postcard perfection. The town is functional, working, real. But for those seeking genuine community at genuine prices with genuine beach access, Carovigno delivers. A British retiree from Devon moved here in 2024. Ostuni was beautiful but performed beauty for tourists. Carovigno was beautiful and ignored tourists entirely. She bought a house for $85,000. 10-minute drive to the beach. 20-minute drive to Ostuni when she wants white walls and tourist infrastructure. Another white town in Valle d'Itria, but with character entirely its own. Population around 11,500. The town climbs a hill in layers of whitewashed buildings topped with terracotta roofs. The Centro Storico is a labyrinth. Streets curve and climb. Arches connect buildings. Walking here feels like navigating a three-dimensional puzzle where every turn reveals another courtyard, another hidden piazza, another balcony dripping with flowers. Average property price sits around $1,250 per square meter. A one-bedroom apartment in the historic center recently sold for $65,000. A two-bedroom house with original features went for $92,000. A three-bedroom townhouse with a roof terrace listed at $128,000. What makes Sister Nino unique is the fornello-ready culture. These are butcher shops that cook what they sell. You choose your meat, they grill it, you eat at communal tables with wine from jugs. It is not fine dining. It is better. It is communal eating where strangers become neighbors over bombette and sausages. The town sits equidistant from Martina Franca, Locorotondo, and Ostuni. You are in the heart of Valle d'Itria, with access to everything the valley offers. Trulli rentals. Olive oil producers. Wineries making Verdeca and Bianco di Martina. Healthcare connects to Ostuni Hospital, 20 minutes away. Public transport is limited. A car makes life significantly easier. The consideration is that Sister Nino attracts Italian tourism, not international tourism. Italian families from Bari and Taranto drive here for Sunday lunch. Prices remain reasonable because foreigners have not discovered it en masse. A Canadian from Toronto relocated here in 2023. She searched for 2 years across Puglia. Ostuni was too expensive and touristy. Locorotondo was too small. Sister Nino balanced size, beauty, location, and price. Her house cost $105,000. The fornello ready near her place knows her order. The neighbors invited her to family events within months. Yes, Ostuni is famous. But it appears on this list for specific strategic reasons. Population around 32,000. Built on 3 hills overlooking olive groves that stretch to the Adriatic 8 kilometers away. The Città Bianca is one of the most photographed towns in southern Italy. Every building in the Centro Storico is whitewashed. Average property price has climbed to $200 per square meter in the historic center. A 2-bedroom apartment there now exceeds $180,000. These prices reflect international demand. But here is the strategic opportunity. The marina areas, Costa Merlata, Villanova, Rosa Marina, sit under Ostuni's administrative control. Property there averages $1,400 to $1,600 per square meter. A 2-bedroom apartment with sea views recently sold for $115,000. A 3-bedroom house near the beach went for $145,000. You get Ostuni postal address, Ostuni healthcare, Ostuni train access, but at coastal prices that remain reasonable. The beaches near Ostuni are stunning. Pilone Beach has blue flag status. The water is clear. The sand is clean. Pine forests back the shore. The infrastructure is exceptional. Ostuni Hospital provides full services. Train station with connections to Bari and Brindisi. Brindisi Airport 35 kilometers away. The consideration is obvious. The Centro Storico is expensive and touristy. Summer brings overwhelming crowds. But if you want proven infrastructure, international community, regular flights via Brindisi, and coastal property that maintains value, Ostuni's marina areas offer strategic compromise. A British couple from Hampshire relocated to Rosa Marina in 2020. The healthcare was excellent. The train connections worked. The beach was 10 minutes walk. They bought for $128,000. Sometimes the obvious choice is obvious for good reasons. Not a single town but a strategic area. The countryside between Locorotondo, Sister Nino, and Martina Franca contains the highest concentration of Trullo houses outside Alberobello. Alberobello is UNESCO heritage and tourist saturated. Prices for Trulli there start at $180,000 and climb toward $300,000. But spread across the Valle d'Itria countryside, Trulli appear regularly on the market between £65,000 and $110,000. Not ruins. Livable Trulli with electricity, water, sometimes small plots of land with olive trees. What is a Trullo? A traditional Puglian dwelling with conical stone roofs built without mortar. The technique is ancient, probably pre-Roman. The thick stone walls keep the interior cool in summer and retain warmth in winter. Current verified listings from early 2026 show restored Trulli with 1 or 2 cones ranging from $70,000 to $95,000. Larger complexes with 3 or 4 cones appear between $120,000 and $160,000. The challenge is that Trulli are in the countryside. You need a car. The nearest town services might be 5 to 10 minutes drive. This is rural living with infrastructure requirements. But the advantages are substantial. You own architectural history. The Trulli are unique. They photograph beautifully. They rent exceptionally well on holiday platforms if you want supplemental income. Property taxes on rural buildings remain low. An American couple from California purchased a 2-cone Trullo with lamia and half-hectare of olive groves in 2022 for $82,000. They spent an additional $18,000 on upgrades. Their total investment was $100,000 for a unique property that would cost 5 times that amount in Alberobello. They rent the Trullo for 6 months through holiday platforms. Income covers their property taxes, utilities, and maintenance. They live there the other 6 months. The model works because the Trullo offers something genuinely unique. 7 locations. From Ceglie's gastronomic excellence to Trullo ownership in Valle d'Itria. Property prices ranging from $65,000 to $145,000. Puglia offers coastal access without coastal premium pricing. Baroque architecture without Lecce's tourist density. Food culture that is lived rather than performed. Healthcare infrastructure that functions. This is not frontier living in isolated villages. This is established regional life at prices that have not yet reflected the quality on offer. The region will not remain affordable indefinitely. Brindisi Airport expands. Budget airlines add routes. British and German buyers arrive in increasing numbers. The trajectory is clear. If Puglia interests you, visit in shoulder season. April, May, or September, October. Rent a car. Drive the Valle d'Itria. Visit the towns. Talk to expats who already relocated. Ask about healthcare, integration, reality versus Instagram. Like this video if you discovered something new. Subscribe because we find the regions where quality of life and affordability still overlap. Tell us in the comments whether Trulli architecture appeals or seems impractical. Puglia is real. The prices are current. The opportunity exists now. Your Italian chapter might be waiting in a white town you have never heard of or a Trullo house you never knew existed.